Mickey 17 would be a great follow-up to Bong Joon-Ho's Parasite, but Mark Ruffalo ruined it all. Welcome back to HMP. My name is Adam, and I got to check out Mickey 17, the follow-up to director Bong Joon-Ho's Oscar-winning movie Parasite. But before I get into my thoughts on Mickey 17, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that bell notification, just so you know when new videos drop. We really appreciate that, and let me know your thoughts on Mickey 17 in the comments below. Let's get into it. Here's the IMDb plotline for Mickey 17. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. Mickey 17, known as an expendable, goes on a dangerous journey to colonize an ice planet. Now, contrary to that amazing plotline, Mickey 17 is not the Trojan fifth expendable movie that we've all been hoping for. Apologies for that. Adapted from the novel Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton, this movie stars Robert Patterson as that expendable, and basically just a disposable crew member that can be sent out on those space missions. These crew members are chosen for dangerous tasks because they can be regenerated if their bodies die, and with that, their memories also stay largely intact. However, with this latest regeneration, things take a little bit of a disastrous turn. Now, as somebody who saw Parasite in a large art house crowd, I found it amazing how all it takes to remove the comedy element from a movie is just to give it subtitles. It was wild to me how some people couldn't understand the funny moments in Parasite, but that's largely gone here, as Mickey 17 is Bong Joon-Ho's straightest comedy to date, and thankfully it's all in English for you. Now, that's not to say that this movie is all jokes, because much like Parasite, Mickey 17 is also heavy on the social commentary, but without hitting you over the head with it too much. That is until you get Mark Ruffalo involved. More on that later. Now, I'll lay out the good and bad and hit you with some of the problems, or better yet, problem with Mickey 17. First up is the good. Robert Pattinson is one of our best working actors today, and Mickey 17 is no exception to that. This movie starts with a voiceover, and you're wondering whose voice that is. Well, that's Robert Pattinson's accent in this movie. Now, it's not one-to-one, but there were some times where it felt very Steve Buscemi-esque to me. Thought that was fun. But it's not like nothing you've ever heard from him before, but once you buy the voice, and it won't take too awful long, you'll forget all about it, and you'll just believe that that's his actual accent. Stephen Yen plays a great little turd of a character, and Toni Collette is also awesome, as is usually the case. Even when she's overacting, there's still an odd hint of realism in that absurdity. Naomi Ackie plays Nisha, Mickey's love interest. She's fine, nothing bad to report, but not anything that I would be particularly running to the hills with to proclaim either, but still a pretty solid performance. So the basic story is Mickey 17 is left to die on a failed mission, but underground space slugs called creepers pull Mickey from certain death. Mickey 17 shows back up to HQ, and there is a new Mickey shacking up with his lady. You can tell the Mickeys apart because Pattinson is really doing two different versions of the same character. I'll be honest with you, I rarely got lost with it. The premise is great. You're really going off on these little space missions and stuff. You don't know if the planet that you're going to is going to be hospitable or not, so you send out that expendable as the guinea pig, and if they die, you can just keep printing out a new one.
We're gonna need another Timmy!
But what happens when other people are doing off-book printing? What are the ethics behind these expendables? How did we even get to this point? It's really a great premise. Interesting production design and cinematography. I really like the majority of all of those aspects of this film. Now, let's get into what I don't like. The main reason I can't recommend this film, and that's Mark Ruffalo. What happened to Mark Ruffalo, man? I really used to enjoy his work, but lately, I just feel like his acting in most things, he's just being Mark Ruffalo as far as I'm concerned. I'm Mark Ruffalo, and my demeanor is always confused and confounded. In those roles, he constantly seems like he's trying to haggle his way out of a parking ticket. But when he is acting, it is all over the place, be it here or Pretty Things. When he's acting in Mickey 17, which mostly consists of, his big giant fake teeth and not being able to hear his in and out accent and everything, probably because of those teeth. And he's constantly mugging and making pouty faces. And I'll say it, he's kind of doing a mild Trump impression. And I'm sure you can imagine how Mark Ruffalo sees Trump and how that might get annoying. I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. It's beyond distracting, and his choices made me actively dislike this movie. Maybe you dug his performance, but me, I personally couldn't stand it. Now, if you replaced him with somebody like Stanley Tucci, this role and thus this entire movie gets substantially better in my opinion. Now, despite the Ruffalo of it all, I did like the bits that he wasn't in. Mickey 17 is that odd science fiction film made for an audience that I'm not so sure is there. I mean, other than movie nerds like me, who's seeing Mickey 17? You've got to be either like just a big Bong Joon-Ho or Robert Patterson fan or something like that. I don't know if that's enough to recoup $118 million plus advertising. Now, that's not a super wild budget for an Oscar follow-up where they do kind of allow you to do whatever you want to. And I guess since this is like 2 hours and 17 minutes, it rolls by pretty quick, but there's no doubt that what was on screen was what Bong Joon-Ho wanted us to see. But ultimately, 3 out of 5 stars, and yes, Mark Ruffalo's acting knocked the score down a whole star. That's on you, Ruffalo. That will do it for this review of Mickey 17. Let me know what you thought about Mickey 17, and if I was too harsh on Ruffalo, leave a comment for your mom below, and we'll see you in the next one. Mickey 17, known as an expendable, goes on a dangerous journey to colonize an ice planet. Fuck off.